More moves are incoming for the Red Sox as a new report reveals a trade in the works for Boston after the signing of Ranger Suarez. Plus, we have some new details on the Red Sox' willingness to move one of their outfielders. We'll tell you the player they're targeting and the player they might be willing to trade away right here today on Red Sox Digest. Welcome in, everybody. I'm Jace Andrews. Hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you might be. And let's get into today's show. Ranger Suarez is a Boston Red Sox. And while I don't think this heals the wound of losing Alex Bregman, especially with all the reports we've gotten since the loss of him and the inadequacies the Red Sox did to him, but it does make me feel a little better. I like Ranger Suarez. He's a very good pitcher. And in my opinion, getting him yesterday makes the Red Sox the best rotation and the deepest rotation in Major League Baseball. Just their top three alone of Garrett Crochet, Sonny Gray, along with Suarez now makes them an elite contender in the pitching realm. But I'm still not satisfied with the offense. Now, don't get me wrong. I think right now, if you asked me what the expectations were for the Red Sox going into the season with the team they have, I'd say to get past the wild card round, to get past that. Don't lose there again. Get one extra round this upcoming season. But if they can get a bat, I think that changes the expectations significantly. And yesterday, just before the Ranger Suarez signing, we had a bunch of reports, quote-unquote, heating up on Astros infielder Isaac Paredes. Now, Paredes, a third baseman by trade, would be a nice kind of pivot for the Red Sox opposed to Alex Bregman. But how good is he actually? Well, I'm going to tell you some cool stats that actually kind of line him up with Alex Bregman here in just a moment. Now, before we get into the rest of today's show, this video is brought to you by Kalshi. And if you download Kalshi using the link in the description and use code DIGESTMLB, you're going to get $20 when you trade your first 100. You're not going to get anywhere else. Do it here. Kalshi is the largest prediction market in the United States on their platform. You can trade yes or no on real-life events, sports, elections, news. Heck, you can trade on the weather in Boston. Now, whether you're in California, Texas, or anywhere else across the country, Kalshi is now live in all 50 states. For us sports fans, we can trade on game outcomes, playoff chances, or player performances, all on a regulated market in which you can cash out at any time. Now, we're a Boston channel, so we're going to go with our Boston sports teams and look at the New England Patriots this week. They are 60% right now on Kalshi to beat the Houston Texans, meaning a $100 trade can net you $62. Pretty good right there if you think the Patriots are going to win. Pretty easy money. It's genuinely the smarter way to use your sports or news knowledge, and you can close positions whenever you want. Again, download Kalshi using the link in the description, and don't forget to use code DIGESTMLB to get your $20 bonus. Okay, so Isaac Paredes. That's the guy the Red Sox were looking at before. We also now have reports that after the signing of Ranger Suarez, Jim McCaffrey saying that at least one person with the Red Sox suggested this week that there was still an opportunity to trade from the outfield group. Now, of course, Milliken kind of talked about it. This is going to spark a lot of trade proposals. This is going to spark a lot of different things to the Boston Red Sox in figuring out, okay, what is the next move? Do they want to trade one of their outfield pieces / who would that actually be? Well, they have a plethora of outfielders. We all know this, and I think we expected at the beginning of the season, or at least the beginning of the offseason, I should say, for one of these outfielders to be moved. Now that we're deeper in, I think we've gotten to the point where we like our outfield. We think that there's not a point to move anybody, and I think that one player who has been lost in all this is Christian Campbell, because we can talk about Masataka Yoshida, Ceddanne Rafaela, Jarren Duran, Anthony Willier, Abreu, and other guys that could also play in the outfield all in the Major League roster. But Christian Campbell, a guy who bounced around in the early part of the year, trying to find a position, ended up not being able to hit in general, couldn't play second base at all, got sent down. He did well in AAA. But he's got that 6-year contract, and I don't want another Rusney Castillo being in the Red Sox organization. So I would like for Christian Campbell to spark up and play, meaning that one of your outfielders probably is not going to play. And so in that situation, who is it? What's the most likely option? And do the Astros have a preference if they are looking to trade Isaac Paredes? Well, this is obviously not the Astros specifically, but looking at Astros fans, and specifically Sleeper Astros, a guy who covers it on X, he says that for me, if it were the asking price for Isaac Paredes, it would have to include some sort of package for Jarren Duran. Now, yes, it would definitely take more than that for Isaac Paredes to land a player like Duran, but he would be the only exception in my opinion. If not, I'm completely fine with keeping him. Jarren Duran is a guy who is MLB All-Star game right there. Got a bobblehead for that. And a guy who is loved by the Red Sox. So I don't disagree with him that It would probably take a little bit more than just Isaac Paredes from the Red Sox perspective to get Jarren Duran, but at the same time, if they have the plethora of outfielders, would that be something they're considering? Now, I'm like everybody else in Red Sox Nation. I love Jarren Duran, and I think that there is a lot of people who, in so many ways, thought that he was going to be the leader of the Red Sox, and he was for a decent amount of time. I think it more became Trevor Story, but at the same time, Duran did a lot of good things, and without Alex Bregman, obviously, in that case scenario as well. He did not have the greatest season last year comparative to his year prior in 2024 when he was getting MVP votes, when he was the All-Star Game MVP, and all the stats and statistics he got. But he still had a very good year, and I think one that is underrated. But does that equal Isaac Paredes? I think it's not a bad idea. 20 home runs, 53 RBI with a 352 on base and 50 walks. I like what he's able to do. He can play third base, which is more of a position of need than the Red Sox in the outfield. But at the same time, I think the Red Sox are very much content with saying, hey, we like our outfield. We like having a plethora of our outfielders. And unless you give us the right thing, I don't exactly feel as though we're going to budge. And that's where the situation goes to a halt. But I do want to make my case for Isaac Paredes for the Red Sox to make some sort of trade. Whether it's going into the minor league system and grabbing some pitchers or outfielders there, or using one of your outfielders in your major league roster to go get. I like the idea of it, and Just Baseball kind of had an interesting tweet here. The only third baseman since 2023 with 230 RBI, an OPS above 120, are Jose Ramirez, Alex Bregman, and Isaac Paredes. The 26-year-old has quickly become one of the most productive players at the hot corner. Now, Paredes has a lot of good things, and I think would fit well in Fenway Park for a couple of different reasons, but there's one specific one that I think people might not be realizing just on an outer perspective. These stats are great, and lining him up with, I would argue, the two best third basemen of our generation is good. But what makes it better is when you look at his baseball savant, and you look at the statistics of the walk rate, the K rate, the whiff rate, the chase rate. Maybe he's not going to hit a bunch of big home runs, and it's not going to be crazy exit velo, and his expected batting average isn't that great. But there's one specific thing about this picture, or this chart, that is being underlooked, and it's specifically the home runs, because since 2023, Isaac Paredes has hit all of his home runs to left field. Now the Astros at Dyken Park do have the Crawford boxes, which do come in to the outfield a little bit. But the Green Monster comes in a lot more. The fact of the matter is, going back to this chart here, a lot of his hits are going to be toward the pull side, meaning he is going to absolutely obliterate that monster if he was with the Red Sox. And I think that's something that I would like to be taken into more account of. This player is great. How is he going to hit in Fenway? Because I don't know if Bo Bichette would hit all that well in Fenway. Now, does that mean I don't want Bo Bichette? No, I'm not saying that. But Bo Bichette's swing does not exactly go great with the Fenway Park, whereas Isaac Paredes' swing goes perfect with Fenway Park. Ultimately, though, it's going to be up to Craig Breslow. And Craig Breslow has made some good trades in the offseason. You talk about going out and getting the guy in Garrett Crochet. And I think this year getting Ranger Suarez is actually a kind of surprising move, but I liked it. I'm not going to lie. I still don't like the situation we're in. I'm glad we spent money, and I'm happy it was a lot of money, and I'm happy it was on a very good player. But to be a relevant team, unfortunately, especially with new reports saying that the Blue Jays are in line to get Kyle Tucker, the AL East is going to be competitive. And for that, you kind of need just one more bat on the Red Sox organization. I really think one more could do it. And at the same time, I think that I'll make a video on this later, but I do want to put this out there. That one bat could come internally. If Christian Campbell can come and play like he did in May last season, or in March, April, whatever you want to call it, in his first couple months in the big leagues, that could change the way the Red Sox look. That could change the way the Red Sox view themselves. However, I'm not willing to bet on it. I'm not willing to sit here and say, yes, I think Christian Campbell is going to be that extra bat. I'm not willing to sit here and say that. I'm saying he could be, but I'd rather get that extra bat. And if he does, boom, you're gold. Which is why, given the pitching depth you have, especially for the long term of that, I wouldn't mind a smaller contract for somebody. Now, Paredes already is in a contract, and that's a lot to talk about. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Would you like to see Isaac Paredes for the Red Sox, / would you want to trade one of the outfielders? If you would, then type Y for yes. If you would not, Then I want you to type in for no. Would you be open to trading a Red Sox outfielder for Isaac Paredes? Y for yes, in for no. I would be. I would want a little more if it was Jarren. I don't really think the Red Sox are open to trading anybody else but Jarren. I'm going to be honest. I like Wilyer enough, and I think that he has the reputation of being such a good right fielder enough that they're not going to worry about it. His power is something that the Red Sox need too. Sedon is just a center fielder of strength, and you're not going to trade Roman, obviously. So Jarren Duran to me is the only outfielder. You could trade Masataka Yoshida, but I don't know what he gets you. It's kind of the last little bit of kind of thought there. But we do appreciate you watching. We hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll see you next time here on Red Sox Digest. Peace out, guys.